We invoked the Emergencies Act after we received advice from law enforcement. The advice we received was to invoke the Emergencies Act.
The Trudeau government caught lying again about the Emergencies Act. Hi, I'm Brian Lilley, political columnist with the Toronto Sun. We've heard that claim from Marco Mendicino, the public safety minister, time and time again. They only brought in the Emergencies Act because, well, the police asked for it. It was at the request of the police after consulting with the police. They've changed the language several times, but their claim remains the same. They did this because it's what police wanted. And Mendicino has stated this over and over again. Check out this compilation from Cosman over at the True North Center.
Look, I don't want to speak for every last serving member of law enforcement, but there was a very strong consensus that we needed to invoke the act. We invoked the act because it was the advice of nonpartisan professional law enforcement. The advice that we were getting was that that law enforcement needed the Emergencies Act. It was only after we got advice from law enforcement that we invoked the Emergencies Act. And that advice came from very experienced law enforcement. We had to invoke the Emergencies Act, and we did so on the basis of nonpartisan professional advice from law enforcement. And that was the advice that we were receiving from law enforcement, and one of the main reasons why we invoked the Emergencies Act. We got the advice from our law enforcement that we'd met the threshold. They then came to their judgment, as you say, and thereafter, we came to ours on the basis of the advice that we were getting from law enforcement.
Of course, since those claims were made, we found out that they're not true at all.
The RCMP commissioner clearly stated in committee yesterday that the RCMP didn't request that the act be invoked and that police used existing legislation to resolve border blockades.
Brenda Lucki, the commissioner of the RCMP, appeared before a Commons committee investigating the use of the Emergencies Act and said her department never asked for it. The former chief of the Ottawa Police, Peter Slowly, said he never asked for it. And acting police chief Steve Bell, who replaced him, said the same thing. Now Mendicino's department is saying, look, he's just been misunderstood. No, he's not been misunderstood. Like so many issues surrounding the use of the Emergencies Act, he's been caught lying. Now, that's unparliamentary language, but thankfully for Minister Mendicino, I'm not in Parliament, but he is not telling the truth. He has fibbed, he has lied, he has changed and altered his story more than once. They invoked the Emergencies Act because it was politically popular, but it wasn't needed to clear out the protests, the convoy in Ottawa. What was needed was for the local police service, Ottawa Police, the people in charge, to do their jobs. And once Peter Slowly was fired, once Steve Bell took over and regular police tactics were used instead of progressive policing, the streets were cleared. That's all that it took. But there was political pressure on Mendicino, on Trudeau, on the entire government. And that's why they invoked the Emergencies Act. That's why they suspended civil liberties, which they have claimed they did not do. And that is why they continue to change their story and not tell the truth to the Canadian public. We've got an inquiry into the use of this act, but if it continues along the lines of how the Trudeau government has been answering basic questions from MPs and journalists, don't expect much truth to come out of that inquiry. Let me know what you think. Drop a comment down below, share this on social media, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.